My name is Safwan, and I'm a fifth-year MD-PhD student at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Today I'm going to show you some of the research towers, as well as walk you through a day in my life. Before I start my day, I'm going to grab a coffee from the convenience store we have here. We are in DRC 1, 5th floor, which is the physiology floor. We're in the lab of Dr. Adam Case, where I work. We study stress and immunity, and in this lab, we have a lot of standard sort of molecular biology equipment, like we have a PCR, we have really our centrifuges, Western blot set up, everything you need to sort of do the day-to-day molecular biology work, which we do in here. And then over here, we have a bunch of desks, and this is where I tend to sit and get some work done in between experiments. So this is another lab space I tend to use. And so this is our cell culture room as well as our hypoxia chamber. And so since we're immunologists, a lot of what we do needs to be sterile. So we use this hood to isolate T cells. And then here we have this piece of equipment, which is really unique to our med center here, and really not many people have this kind of equipment. And so we have a hypoxia chamber because we're really interested in metabolism. You can't really divorce that from the oxygen status. And then we also have this live cell imager, where instead of having to count our cells every few hours, it can take automatic images for us. And so this is really something that has saved me a lot of time during my graduate work, and a lot of people, both in our department and across the university, like to use. So DRC 1 and 2, the research towers we're in right now, are home to a bunch of different researchers. So there are people doing physiology, like on this floor, from things to people doing medicinal chemistry on the first floor, or people doing human translational studies. And really that's, I think, the nice thing about these research towers is that people doing sort of similar or even very different research can be in very close proximity. If you want to ask a faculty member a question, you can just stop by their lab and see what they're doing. And then another nice thing is that if you have a question for someone who isn't doing what you're doing and who maybe is more of an expert in a totally different field or a totally different technique, you can go just to the other building or another floor and you can find them and really ask them questions. So within the overall graduate student community, there's also the MD-PhD students that you've been with for up to 7 or 8 years. And so those are people that you can ask questions, visit, and sort of collaborate with. And then overall, I think at UNMC, there's really a great campus community in that as a student who's doing research, I can definitely take care of my research, but then on days where I might have less research and I want to go visit clinic or see what's going on the clinical side, that makes it very easy, whether it's to work with a collaborator for a research project or just to keep up on my clinical skills while I'm doing my PhD. So we are in the first floor of DRC 1, and so this is where a lot of the core facilities are. So if there's a new technique or something I want to do that we don't have the piece of equipment or necessarily the expertise, this is a great place to go and sort of learn things and do those experiments. So we have anything from tissue sciences facility, we have some proteomics cores where you can do mass spec, and really some new advanced techniques. And then, of course, being an immunologist, the thing that I'm really interested in, we have a great flow core with great staff who can help me when I'm doing those experiments and really make it easy to use that piece of equipment. So right now we're in the core facilities, the flow cytometry core, and so this is one of the rooms. So we have a fax where you can sort your immune cells and really get distinct populations you want. And these are great for people who are trying to do really specific experiments. And then the great thing that I love about working in this facility is that there are always people on staff who can help you if you have questions, which when you're using equipment like this, something always comes up. So it's great to have people who can support you and help you while you're doing this. So we are in DRC 1 in one of the sort of general classrooms. And so this classroom tends to get used a lot for graduate school classes, but as an MD PhD student at UNMC, you take all of the medical school classes, so you only have to take a few of the graduate school classes, really the ones you're interested in. And so you might have class in here, or depending on your department, you would have seminar here, a journal club, or if we have invited speakers, they would tend to come here, and we would get to have sort of a smaller setting where we could hear about their science and really talk to them and get really good perspective on what they do at other universities, as well as people from across campus. So now we're in one of the big auditoriums in DRC1. And so as you can see, this auditorium is huge. And so this tends to be where people might have their thesis defense, or really big speakers might come. And something that happens weekly is the internal medicine grand rounds are here, which they always have lunch at, so that's convenient. You can also stay in touch with the clinical side while you're over here doing your PhD. So right now we're standing in the atrium between DRC Research Tower 1 and 2. And so as you can see, this is a big open space. So normally during the week we have food vendors and food trucks here, and you can meet up with some friends, other people, and really just sit here and enjoy your lunch. And then other times we have events that go on here. So like the MD PhD program has their graduation here, where we can all get together, have some food, have some drinks, and really celebrate people who are on their way out. And then my department, the physiology department, we have our holiday brunch here. So there's really an open space where a lot of things can happen in terms of events. And then it's just a good place during the week to kick back and socialize. So if you like DRC Research Tower 1, I have some exciting news for you. There's a second DRC Research Tower, which we're standing in the lobby of right now. And so this building serves as basically a mirror image of DRC 1, and it's right across the way. And so there's a bunch of scientists, 8 floors, same thing, doing great research here. And so whether you're in DRC Research Tower 1 or 2, you can really collaborate and work with other scientists who are just right across the hallway. So I think one of the biggest things that brought me to Omaha and UNMC was the size and the community I found here. Where there are other universities that are really big or tend to be smaller, I felt like UNMC really had that Goldilocks feel where it was just right. And I think it made it easy to find friends and people who I could collaborate with, but it also still had a big city where I could find things that I wanted to do and really things outside of medicine and research. Thanks for following me around for a day. Hopefully you got to see a good example of what it's like to be an MD PhD student in your graduate school years here at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. If you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to me. We have a very supportive community of faculty, students, and staff. But that's all for me. I hope to see you here soon.